All right, welcome everyone to another GoDaddy Pro meetup. My name is Marcus Burnett, and I'm part of the GoDaddy Pro team. Today, I have a guest joining me to tell us a bit about client invoicing through the Hub by GoDaddy Pro and share a bit of a demo. Before I introduce him, though, I do want to let everyone know that this is being recorded. So if you have to hop out early, or if you want to share this with your team afterwards, we'll share a link to the replay as soon as it's available. And also, I'll be hanging out in the chat throughout the entire thing. So if you have any questions throughout, just go ahead and toss them in there, and I'll be collecting those, and we'll have a little bit of time at the end to do some Q&A. Without any further delay, I'd like to welcome Matthew Clancy, known simply to most as Clancy. Clancy has been in multiple roles around GoDaddy since 2005 and is currently a senior product manager for GoDaddy Partners Experience. How are you today, Clancy?
I am doing very well. How are you today, Marcus?
I am doing great. Where are you coming to us from,
I'm
anyways?
in Uptown in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, out that way. So maybe similar climate. I'm over in Central Florida.
Okay.
Warm days for both of us.
No, actually, it was really nice. We had a breeze come through, and it's like 72 today, so
Oh, sweet.
we're
It's
escaping the heat.
Or it's that roller coaster April where it's
Yep,
just back and forth.
exactly.
I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way in a moment, but before I hop off and let you share a demo, maybe you could tell us just a little bit about the hub and who it's made for.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not sure if everyone's got a chance to use the hub, but um, the hub is for our GoDaddy pros. It's a free to use interface and client site, kind of meant to be like this whole management tool around what you like, the jobs that you guys do every day. So um, you can go in there, you can add sites from any provider. If the site is with GoDaddy, you get a couple extra features that are included in there. But really, we don't care where you're hosted. We just want to make sure that all of your clients and your sites and your projects and all those things that you do when you're building sites for other people and managing them are in one place. So it's ever changing because I'm sure, as everyone knows, this business is ever changing. So we're always trying to either add new features or modify existing features to fit today's needs. So some of you might have known it as Managed WP before. Other of you might have known it as Pro Sites in the past, or the GoDaddy Pro Dashboard. Right now, the current iteration of it is the Hub, and that's what I work on. And I am working on the product integrations into the Hub and third-party integrations. So the invoicing area is from our GoDaddy payments team, and we're the first team to bring it into the our experience like we have now as an invoicing feature. So I'm going to be happy to share that with you shortly.
Yeah, awesome. Like I was telling you beforehand, it's something I got a chance to use earlier this week, and it's pretty slick. So I'm excited to have you on to kind of share a bit of a demo with us. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of the way here, but I'll be, like I said, floating around in the chat, and I will keep an eye out for questions there. And we'll be back towards the end to sort of talk through some of those. So take it away.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to be bouncing around to a couple different screens, so you might see me jump in and out here. But as I mentioned, can everyone, Marcus, I assume we can see because it has a little bar at the bottom. So just let me know if we can't see this. And you can't have a meeting without asking if anyone can see your screen or not. So, um, so as I mentioned earlier, invoicing is part of our GoDaddy Hub. I already have a GoDaddy account. I'm not enrolled in the Hub, but I can if I go to GoDaddy Pro, and it'll prompt me to enroll myself in it. If you're already enrolled, you can kind of skip this whole part that I'm going through, but I'm going to enroll in the Hub right now so you guys can all see what it looks like. see here. I'm going to do Pro Meetup as our business name. And then let's launch into it. And it's going to ask me to log back in. I knew it was going to do it. So luckily I have my password all ready to go here. All right, cool. So the first thing that comes up is you can take a tour. We're going to skip the tour for now because we're only talking about invoicing. We're not talking about the hub as a whole. So this is the first thing that comes in. You guys can see this giant area here that's going to show you to the invoicing and payments kind of getting started. So we're going to go there. Just as a quick note, on the left-hand side, you can see the invoicing option here. That's another place that you can access it at all times. But we'll go ahead and click Get Started. So the first thing that we're going to ask you is to set up a payments profile. What this is doing is this is actually prompting you to sign up for our merchant account. So when you send out an invoice, every time you send an invoice, it does have a option for your client to pay through a credit card. And that credit card will be processed using the GoDaddy Payments merchant account. So that's essentially what you're doing here is you're going through and you're signing up all of this to basically get approved for the merchant account. I don't want to talk too much about future items, but I do want to share that one thing that we are currently working on is actually removing this step as your first option, because we do know that a lot of individuals might accept payments outside of credit cards. There's a lot of in-person transactions that occur. So if you do go to sign up in the near future for the hub invoicing, you might not see this screen anymore, and that's because, like I said, we're trying to remove this as the beginning step and move you further along into the actual invoicing and being able to use that feature. So I'm going to stop sharing really quick because I'm not going to put in all my information here for you on this. So give me just a minute to switch back over to my setup invoicing account here, and we're going to go through adding our first invoicing and how to manage them. All right, hold on. This is all right, Marcus. I think it's not accepting my new page. So just a second. Oh, it's because I have. Hold on, one moment. I'm sorry, everyone. This is very used to Zoom, so I need to send the page so that I do not share over my face here and create a mirror effect. All right, there we go. All right, that's much better. All right, very sorry about that.
You're good. We definitely don't want the wormhole of video to happen.
Right. Okay, so the first thing I is I'm ready to create a new invoice. So the first question that you're going to get asked is to choose a client. So you can see it says no client. I actually can't. I need to have a client to invoice. So I can either create a client here and I can add one of my clients. You can go through the delegation. You can you can have them as an active or a lead. You can set their business name, email address, phone number, all these different pieces of information to manage this client. I have a couple clients already in here. They're myself. So I'm going to select myself from the client list, and then I can go through and start adding the line items for my invoicing. So I'm going to do Pro Meetup, and then I can choose my quantity. We do support up to 2 decimal values. So, for example, we do know that a lot of pros half an hour, and then sometimes there are situations where maybe you only do 15 minutes of work. So you can actually put a value of 0.25 in here, and then you could say that you're charging $50 and it will an hour, and it will come out to $12.50 that you're invoicing your client for. So We do support that. You know, an hour and basically an hour and 15 minutes as your 1.25, and it will automatically calculate whatever your hourly rate is. And you can add anything here. You know, if you purchased hosting for your client or a domain, you know, you can charge them for whatever value that came out to, and you can have that in there. And then you can add a discount, and then depending on where you're located, you could add your tax percentage. And then you, of course, have your total due that you're asking the client to pay. And then we scroll down and we get to our payment details. So the first option we have is to repeat it never. And then the other options are the reoccurring invoicing function. So let's say, for example, that you offer a website maintenance service, and I'm just going to do a $50 a month website maintenance. I can go into the monthly and I can choose the start date, the end date, and how often I want it to occur. And essentially what will happen is this will schedule out an invoice to be sent to your client every month on that day. And it will continue to repeat over and over again until you either end it or cancel the occurrence completely. So you can also do a custom time, just if you want it to be every 2 months or every quarter or once a year, you can also do that. So for the sake of this test, though, we're going to do we're just going to set to repeat as never. I can put an invoice ID in here. So let's say that you are moving from another invoicing service, or you just want to start with a different set of numbers. You can do 2000 as your invoice ID, and then your invoice summary. I'm going to do again Pro Meetup, and then you can put a custom message in here, and then you can either save as a draft or you can review it and send it. So I'm going to hit review and send. Let's not save that. And then you can see it shows me a draft here, my invoice when it's due. And then it says invoice from Clancy's PM testing site. That's the name of my business. There's a link to pay in here. This is for the credit card transaction, who I'm billing it to, the items. And then it has a couple of details. It will have like your business information down here. And then you can review this. So let's go ahead and hit send. And you can see here that the status here of my invoice is not paid. I can come in and I can look at it again if I want to. I can see that it was created today and then sent out today. But let's say that, after talking to the client, we decided that we're not going to accept credit card. We're going to do a cash payment. I can come in here and I can hit add payment, and I can hit cash, check, or other. Maybe I chose to use Cash App or PayPal or something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put in here that I accepted payment through PayPal. And then I'll send this receipt to the client, hit mark as paid. And then I'll get a message saying, hey, it's updated. And then you can see here that it says, thank you, paid. And I can go back into all of my invoices and I can see that it's updated as paid. And you guys can see here that we do have some more information. So I have my paid in the last 30 days, how many I've sent out, how many are past due, and then how many I have in draft status. I also have this message here to link my bank account. On this account, I've signed up for a merchant account, but I never went and linked my bank account because this is just my testing account. So I don't have anyone or any money actually coming in here, but I do have that warning in case I haven't set up my bank account yet. But I can scroll down here and I can see all of my invoicing. I can see if it's a reoccurring series. I can see the client, the amount, past due, anything like that. I can click the 3 dots here if I want. I can cancel it. I can get a link. Can send a reminder to my client. So if it's a reoccurring series or it's past due, I can send a reminder to them. I can go ahead to view it, to take a look and see what's going on here. You guys can, let me go to another paid one here that we had been testing out. all the way at the bottom here. And you know, you can see that it has paid using cash, and it's updated here in the invoice. Now you're probably asking, what does the email look like? So I have a couple of those examples I want to show you all. So give me just a moment here to jump back over to a new screen. So the first one I'm going to show you is, this is the reoccurring one. So this is what your client receives, and it says, you know, what my business name is. Have the option to pay now. Again, this paying option is through credit card only. So just be aware of that when you are using our invoicing. And then it has, you know, the amount and the total. And that's everything that's in there. And then again, you guys saw that I sent the receipt to myself. I would have a receipt, which I should hopefully have by now in my email. Let's see here. Oh, I sent it to my personal email. So give me just a minute. I have a reminder one that I also want to show you. So I'll show you the reminder one first, and then I'll go and try and pull up my my tester email here of a paid invoice. Just give me just a minute here to jump around. Okay, so this is what it looks like as a past due. It just says reminder, you have an invoice, and it has the due date. And again, it's basically the same information, but just some, you know, specific options that say, you know, reminder, and also it's due in red, things like that. So let me go over to my other email account where I sent my paid invoice to. Give me just 2 seconds here. Let's see if I can get this to open up for me without having everyone get to see how many emails I have in here. All right, so it doesn't look great because it doesn't want to open up for some reason. And I'm about to do the thing where I was going to do the mirror effect, so give me just a minute again. Okay, it's not, I don't think this likes the, this does not like this, so just, let's try this. You guys get to see all my emails. All right, there we go. So this was the invoice I got. It does not look like I've got the new email yet regarding the invoice actually being paid. So that has not yet come through to me. That will probably take a few minutes. So let me jump back over here to my invoicing screen, which I've apparently closed. So apologies there. I really wanted to do a live demo because I personally think live demos are more exciting because something always goes wrong or you accidentally close your screen. So again, apologies here. All right, there we go. Okay, so so again, this is the invoicing screen. If I am already on, if I'm already signed up, I can click this little plus sign. I can create an invoice. As I mentioned earlier, I've created a client right for myself. I can come into my clients here, and I can see that my client is active. We don't yet have the complete invoicing integration into the clients area yet. This is something that we're working on right now. But if you do want to come and edit a client, you can change your client from this area or request access. This request access that's showing up is to delegate into your client's GoDaddy account. But we'll go back to invoicing. There is a very special area I want to show you, and this is our merchant services area. So you can come in here and you can see your the GoDaddy payments area. This is what manages our merchant services. So you can see your payments. If you add your bank account, you can also see kind of a different view of your transactions. This is not the invoicing, but this is this could be all transactions. So let's say you're not only invoicing clients, maybe you're accepting some payments in person with this merchant account, like through a phone app, or maybe you've decided to get a terminal. You would see some of those transactions show up in this area because this again is for all of your GoDaddy merchant account that you'd be looking at under this payment. So that opens up in a new window. You don't have to use that area, but it's just kind of a way to manage that merchant account. So let's see here. I think I've covered almost everything. Marcus, do we have any questions?
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, I got a chance to use it and just sort of filling in some of the details here as you go along too for some of the other things that I didn't even know existed. We have a few questions, some of them from that I collected from beforehand, and then a really important one from Brian Batista. He asks when is dark mode coming out? Are there plans for some different layout, different style stuff there, or dark mode specifically?
Yeah. I actually don't know what the progress is on dark mode for the hub. I think we would have to double check with the. We have so like I said, I work on the integrations team. There's a core hub group that's led now by Justin Neely, which I'm sure he's a familiar face for everyone, but we'll have to ask him when we can expect dark mode. I think it's probably going to get pushed to next year from the last time we talked about it, but I'm not sure on the exact date, so I don't want to make any promises.
Don't want to tell him, hold him to a specific date.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I did see, sorry, really quick, I want to mention, yes, Batista, I do still use Workspace for my personal email. I have not migrated it yet.
Very nice. Yeah, some questions that I sort of gathered beforehand before the meetup here. So I'll just sort of run through them, I guess. Is invoicing limited to using GoDaddy payments? And if so, what are some of maybe the other benefits of GoDaddy payments that people can look into as well?
Yeah, so right now, invoicing from a credit card transaction perspective, our invoicing is only limited to GD payments. So like I showed you guys, you can do cash, check, or other payment if you would like to invoice and then accept it through Cash App. I personally know people who are invoicing through the invoicing tool and then using Cash App just because that's how they've always done things. I also know a few other people who are using PayPal to accept payment, just again because that's what they've been using before. GD payments, I don't personally use it because I don't have a business, but I do know that there are some other people who are using it, and we do have a very low transaction fee. And what I've heard from the people who are using it, and this is what's most important to me, is that the payout actually happens extremely quickly. A couple of people have reported me that the payout's been within 24 hours of receiving payment from their client, which from some other friends who use Square and things like that, sometimes those payouts don't happen as quickly, especially for these types of transactions.
Yeah, that was actually going to be one of my other questions to you, was about when payments land in the bank account. But I was going to say, just from personal experience, I do use GoDaddy payments and did use it for the invoice that I had it set up beforehand, but used it for the invoice that I sent out earlier this week. I sent the invoice on Monday. The client paid on Monday, and the money was in the bank account on Tuesday. So I can vouch for the fact that the payments do seem to go through within about 24 hours.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I just really quickly want to say again, I don't want to promise too many things for the future, but this is something that we're actually researching right now is, can we add outside functionality? Of course, we want people to sign up for GD payments. We think it's great, and the transaction fee is lower. But what we're trying to do right now is understand what are all the different types of methods that our users are actually using to accept payments, and then make a decision on how do we want to integrate those. So again, I'm not saying it's outside the realm of possibility that we'll add future other payment types.
Yeah, I'm extremely happy with it. I like what you were showing a little bit there with the payments hub, the where you sort of tie in some of the other transactions and stuff, because it's not out of the realm of possibility that maybe you as a business also have a WooCommerce site or something and are accepting payments there for, swag or merchandise, or using that to sort of run people ordering products or services from your site as well. And then that all kind of ties into the same place, and you can see all those transactions, like I said, too, in person. Maybe you're taking some payments in person as well. That all kind of filters into the same place. So I love the connection there between all the different pieces falling into the same place.
Yeah, and there's GD Payments does support getting a terminal. You can also do the phone, the phone app, traditional payment types. So, I know that in my experience, a lot of pros go door to door at some businesses, talking to them about their website. And, I can see, accepting the payment on your phone after sending an invoice out. And that transaction would, that would show up in both the GD payments and, in the invoicing section if you actually sent the invoice through our system. So,
Yeah, it's very cool. Let's see. Talking a little bit more logistics. What happens? Let's say you've set up a recurring payment. It's monthly for hosting or something, and then the card on file doesn't work. Does the invoicing system or payments and all of that handle kind of sending out emails, making sure that cards get updated and all of that too?
no, it's not connected to like the GoDaddy subscriptions right now. So if you're, if your client, you would get a separate set of emails basically warning you if you, depending on your delegation access, whether or not your client is, their hosting has expired or needs to be renewed, or if your hosting needs expired or needs to be renewed. We haven't been able to connect those, the GoDaddy commerce itself, not the commerce product, but the GoDaddy commerce to the invoicing system yet. I know that's been talked about, but I haven't seen it completely planned out yet. So I'm definitely not even going to say that's coming yet.
Yeah, no, and I was thinking more specifically, right? You're creating an invoice and you get down to that recurring section and you mark it as monthly. That's not actually necessarily collecting a payment monthly, or is that just sending out an invoice to your client monthly for them to act on?
That's sending it to them to act on.
Okay.
There is a plan to add a auto transaction function. There is a little bit of a problem that we're working through right now with the invoicing team on how that, kind of the legality of that auto transaction and how that, making sure that that is approved and everything like that. But that is definitely planned to set the reoccurring and have it auto complete the payment, have an auto pay basically. Because that's what you're asking, right? Does that the auto pay feature? Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. I guess I was trying to just provide some clarity on what the recurring invoicing does. So it's not, at this stage anyways, not actually charging on a recurring basis. It is sending out invoices on a recurring basis,
right?
For which is huge. I mean, that is I worked at an agency before. We had 20, 30, 40 hosting clients at any given time that we were charging for their hosting. And every month having to sit down and write all of those emails out and send out emails asking for hosting payments and stuff was just a nightmare. So having even something that we'll just send the emails out to clients and say, hey, it's that first of the month again or whatever, time to pay this, and just let the system handle that, and is a whole lot better than having to track all that stuff down.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the things I didn't see when you're creating an invoice, is it possible to grab an invoice that's already been created and sort of copy it to give yourself a start on the next invoice?
No, we don't have a draft feature or like a template feature right now. That's not something we have the ability to do right now.
Cool. And then I was interested in, right, so you create an invoice and you have that clients drop down. Those are not clients specific to invoicing. Those are clients just within the hub, right? So
Right.
this is tying into maybe a larger piece of the hub and isn't specifically tied to invoicing.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me reshare my screen here. So,
Yeah,
really quick, let me jump back. Apologies for jumping back and forth here on you. So when I choose the
that's
clients
okay.
from the list here, I've got 4 clients
Mm-hmm.
for my hub. And if I go to create a new client, I get the same client creation screen that I have in the clients area. But as I mentioned earlier, part of the hub's purpose is to be able to manage your clients. So you can actually go to this client section and you can see all of the clients that you've added, and we can go in here. And I think I have this one is some of these are very old, so forgive any errors that are happening. But some of these are very old, just because I've been here for so long and created a lot of broken
Yeah.
things. But I can go in here and I can see the projects. If I've created a project, maybe for one client you have an SEO project or a refresh project, whatever it might be, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to see the clients, but I think, like I said, my delegation I think is broken on here. It's because it's for my 3-letter. So I hit the login as client. I'm immediately sent over to my client's account. Go back in here and wait for it to load. Yeah, see, I'm breaking this because it's on my 3-letter my own GoDaddy internal account, and totally breaking this system. So, but yeah, I totally completely broke this, Marcus. See, this is the fun of having the live demo, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of stuff going on there between external, internal stuff. Literally, part of your job is breaking it to see where the problems are, where
Yeah.
things need to get fixed. So, some of that's intentional and all that. But yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think it's worth noting that the invoicing piece isn't like this little thing off in the corner, that it's a functionality of using the hub to manage your clients, manage the sites, manage their products and all of that stuff. And that this invoicing piece it's a part of that. It's integrated into it. It's not just this little thing sitting off in the corner. So you kind of get to take advantage of all the other pieces of the hub in invoicing, like pulling in the clients that you probably already have set up, because ideally you're in there managing the clients and their sites and all of that stuff already.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and there, like I mentioned, you can set the different projects, but yeah, I mean, going in and being able to see your whole client view, and then being able to see which client has received invoicing, and you're using invoicing for, I think is, at least I think it's a really cool feature. Not just because I've been a part of getting to create it, but because I've heard from so many different businesses just how they when you ask for an invoice, they don't have one, and just being able to create one I think is really cool. There is one thing I do want to share is again, this is, we don't call this a beta, but this was kind of our first pass at like providing invoicing. So if there's something in here that you want to see and that you are like, I really want that feature, make sure that we're getting that feedback, because that's all I'm doing is listening to what's coming in, because again, like I mentioned, I don't have clients myself.
Hmm.
My specialty is bringing these pieces into the experience. And I want people's feedback on how they use this type of function so that I can add those features in and that functionality for them, because um, it's like I said, it's kind of our first pass at this, and all I want to do is make it better. So please let us know if there's something that's missing. I can already tell you, I know that people are going to want to customize that email that goes out to their clients. That is
Yep.
absolutely something that's probably one of my top priorities right now, outside of the invoicing without the merchant account. So hopefully look out for some customizations to those emails here in the future.
Yeah, and I think you sort of breezed over it a little bit when you were doing the demo, but those emails have pay links in them that you can pull out, or even from the invoice screen, it looked like you can, when you click the, three dot menu, that you can pick copy link or whatever, and then you can paste those into your own email if you want, correct?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Let me go back here. I can quickly show that. So let's go back to invoicing here. So I got this not paid one. I can hit this get link right here, and
Hmm.
I can have the link. And then essentially that's Marcus, it was like you and I planned for me to be able to show what it looks like when someone's trying to pay an invoice, right? So this is essentially what your client will see when they're completing it. And like I said, totally understand that this page and the emails are not, they do have different branding on it. Like I said, it's something that we're looking into right now, is how do we customize this. But
Right.
it does have it, at least what my business is, the invoice number, and things like that.
Yeah, so just for clarity, Point is the sort of underlying system to GoDaddy Payments, currently still working on unifying all the branding there. But um, yeah, that's very cool. And like I said, if you just can't deal with those emails, which I think look great as they are, you have the option to copy the link out of there and send that separately in your own email. Um, Worth noting, I left a link in the chat here for learning more about the hub, godaddy.com/pro/hub-dashboard. And that will, give some more information about the hub as a whole. And worth mentioning that it is a free tool. So there's no harm at all in going and signing up and poking around and seeing what you can do there to manage clients, manage sites, and look at the invoicing piece as well.
Yep. Cool. Is that all our questions?
I think so.
Man, next time I got to be less thorough so that there's more questions, right?
Yep. Sandy popped in and was also mentioning that it's free and that she would like to customize all the things.
Yeah.
um, Also asked or talked about auto magical reporting. So there is a little bit of reporting in there currently. It looked like you can see, what was it, last 30 days, current balance, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you can see you can see last 30 days, how many you've sent out all time, past due all time, and in any drafts that you have in there. There is some additional filters that we're looking to add in here, like being able to filter by a specific client or by a specific status. Um, but yeah, at the top you can basically see those giant boxes that show that.
Nice. Sandy is continuing to just add feature requests to the chat, so I will get with Sandy on all those and make sure that they get to you. And John also commented that customization and branding would be really cool. So yeah,
Definitely agree with John.
looking out for that. I'm sure
Yeah.
that is in the pipeline. And Daniel, yes, this video is being recorded, and a link will be shared with you once the replay is available online on our GoDaddy Pro YouTube channel. That's all the questions that I have, though, for you, Clancy. So with that, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap us up here. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Next week we'll have a small panel of a couple of folks talking about growing your business's brand at our Growing Your Brand coffee chat. That'll be the same time, same place, right here next week, April 20th. And to register for that event or any other future events, head to events.godaddy.com. And you can catch any of the past event replays there, along with on our GoDaddy Pro YouTube channel, like I just mentioned. Again, that's it for us. Thank you again, Clancy, for coming on and sharing about invoicing. Really enjoyed that.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a good time.
Awesome. Thank you all. I'll see you at the next meetup.